Welcome to the first episode of Under the Radar. Our main topic for today is photography and learning photography. Our host is actually very qualified. Now I will proceed to the introduction piece. Photography these days is very cheap. You don't even have to buy a camera these days. You have a camera with you, most likely in your phone. 99% of the phones these days come with a built-in camera. It might be a great camera, it might be a bad camera, but you do have a camera with you. You have a camera. It's not like the old days. In the old days, a camera was expensive, was big, bulky, and if you had the money to have it, you needed to learn how to use it. Not everybody had the knowledge on how to use it. And also, if you knew how to use it, you would always be in the guess. You would guess if your images came out perfectly or if they haven't, because you weren't able to watch on a digital display like these days. These days, anybody can shoot a picture and see if they like it or not. In the old days, it was expensive. You had glass plates, you had metal plates, or you had film later on. Film and all the other technologies had one big disadvantage. It was a limited number of shots, they were expensive, and you didn't get to see until you revealed the picture. You might have blinked in the picture, or the picture might be ugly by your standards. These days, everybody can shoot hundreds of pictures, thousands of pictures. If you walk on the street, you can see a lot of people taking a picture, taking a video, stuff that wasn't available in the old days. Nowadays, even digital SLR cameras that were expensive are becoming even more common, with Nikon, Canon, Sony also putting their bid into the entry-level market, where they would provide you a camera for a cheap price with all the manual capabilities of the expensive camera. These days, a lot of people buy cameras, but they also buy it, start using it, and they want to learn. They want to learn what their camera is capable of, what it can do, how to use it, and how to get that perfect shot that they've seen other photographers take. If you want to learn, your options these days are multiple. You can go to a library like the old days. You can find a photographer near you that can teach you basic photography, basic tricks, or even take you under his wing and teach you all the ropes that you need to pull to get the perfect shot. But a lot of people don't have either a library available, or they don't have somebody that could teach them. Here comes the internet. In the past decade, the internet has blown up. You have YouTube, you have a lot of websites that are starting up, and they're starting to get traction, so you're starting to learn easier techniques, and everything is easier to learn. I remember when I started with photography, I was actually interested in learning the fastest way possible. I read a lot of books, I read blog posts, but I was sick and tired of reading the article and getting halfway through it and seeing that it's more or less the same article that I've read a few dozen times, has the same contents, and I'm not getting too much out of it. I said, maybe I can find somewhere where I can kick back, relax, and learn something or see something interesting. That's when I went on YouTube and started looking up Google, also in YouTube, video courses for photography. I found the odd clips with interesting information, good information, but they weren't that good. And I stumbled upon some interesting videos. One of them was from Adorama. They have had a good collection of basic photography starting out, But I also hit on two guys that were full of energy, interested in teaching, and they were professional photographers that were willing to teach basic things. And their videos were amazing, were different quality of production and everything. Those videos actually got me hooked. I went ahead and subscribed to their channel. I've been subscribed to them ever since. I love that channel, that YouTube channel. Afterwards, I found out that they have also a website called fstoppers.com. That website was a gate to photography knowledge. Why? Because you had access at the time when I visited that website. You had a contest going on behind the scenes. It was a contest where a lot of photographers around the world were allowed to submit a video behind the scenes with their photo shoot, teaching, providing some information, and you would be entered in a prize to get a big prize. They actually partner up with a lot of photography related stores and with big photographers to have as jury. That behind the scenes contest actually hooked me on their website. That website is fstoppers.com. Today for you, I have as a guest one of the founders. His name is Lee Morris. You might have seen him if you already seen the videos. He's an outgoing person, full of energy, loves sports, to practice, not to watch them like he said, but he is amazing. Let's hear our interview together. What was the idea, like, let's go for a blog, let's create a photography blog?
Really, it was just boredom. Patrick and I were wedding photographers at the time, and we weren't rich by any means, but we were living well below our means. So we had lots of extra money and lots of extra time, and we just felt like, shouldn't we do something more than just go out on the boat every day and go wakeboarding or, waste our lives away? So we just thought, hey, let's make this website where we teach photography through video, because we were lazy and we didn't like reading articles. And that was kind of the basic idea. The Strobist was a huge inspiration to us, but his articles were really long and we never really liked reading all that. So when he would release a video, and at the time, like, Chase Jarvis was the only guy who was releasing behind the scenes videos of high-end photo shoots. Those were our favorite posts. And so we just thought, what if every post was like our favorite post? That would be even better. So that was the basic idea. And of course now we post everything, but we're still very video centric. I would say most of our posts still have videos in them.
So your main idea was to change how posting is done. Like, instead of having to read a long page, you would actually watch a 5-minute video, 10-minute video, and get the information that way. It's about speed.
That was the dream, yeah.
Interesting. And how were the first few weeks, months for you guys? Like,
it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare because we didn't know how to do anything. We were wedding photographers. We knew how to do that. But video, we had never shot video in our entire lives. We had never edited video in our entire lives. The first camera that we had...
300S, if I remember correctly.
I think that was the second camera, because the very first one that we had was the D90. We quickly upgraded to the D300S. But if I remember correctly, those cameras did not record audio internally, or... No,
they weren't able to record the audio internally at all.
Right. So then we had to learn like all these different... And now there's like a billion products. You can get the little Zoom recorder or whatever. But back then, none of that existed. So we would use the iPhone. We'd like stick the iPhone in somebody's pocket to record audio. But even that was causing major problems with audio drifting, and it wouldn't sync up with the mouth, and because like every video camera ever would shoot in 23.976 frames a second.
Yeah, it would drift.
The first DSLRs ever actually shot in 24 frames per second JPEGs. And Premiere couldn't open these, and so we had to figure out this like crazy workaround to even get them in Premiere. We had to teach ourselves how to work Premiere. Then we didn't know how to build a website, so like Patrick taught himself how to build a website. So he would, he basically created the WordPress website at the time.
So he wasn't coding. He took the WordPress plugin, input it into the domain, and started building off of that. Or did he actually code?
No, it was like mostly a template WordPress site, and then like little bits
changes
of customization. But mostly we were just figuring out everything ourselves. We paid for everything ourselves. Like the first few videos, we paid to travel to these photographers and film them and make these free videos about them. And it was a total loss. It was hundreds of hours lost and thousands of dollars lost. But we were having a great time. It was like, it felt good to try to build something rather than just,
trying to do something creative and trying to create what would people say, like a legacy, something like that.
Yeah, even that sounds a little pretentious. It's like to me it was like, all right, we have been literally wakeboarding like 4 or 5 days a week for the last year. How much more do we want to do this? It's like, it's not fun anymore. It gets old after a while. So, all these people who dream about retiring one day so they don't have to do anything, that will be fun for a very short amount of time, and then you're going to want to find something to do, find something to accomplish. So it felt good to work hard and have these goals, and then have nobody to turn to and nobody to ask for help or money or whatever. Like, we just had to do it ourselves, and it was annoying, but it was also very fulfilling at the time.
Lee, going into a bit of personal area, as much as you want to disclose is perfect. I'm not gonna push it. What is Lee Morris besides f-stoppers? What does he love to do? What does his passion besides f-stoppers and everything? If you don't want to disclose, you're free.
There's little things that I like. I love kiteboarding. That's like my favorite thing to do. I'm trying to get good at tennis right now. I'm trying to get back into golf right now. I'm training in jiu-jitsu right now. I'm trying to learn how to do that. That's fun. I love boating. I love jet skiing. I love, just outdoor sports stuff. But in terms of like, who am I'm not sure that I have a real answer for that. And sometimes I feel like I definitely felt it last year that I was kind of getting burnt out on f-stoppers overall, and I was just thinking like, man, how much more do I have to give? And I really don't care to write any more posts, and I'm not that excited about new cameras coming out. But I also think to myself, well, if we ever sold f-stoppers, what would I do with my life? It's kind of the same problem that I had before. It's like, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have a reason to get up in the morning, you'll get tired of lazing around all day. So recently, especially like the 30 for 30 videos that we did in January, kind of got me inspired all over again and just reminded me how much fun it is to set goals and be creative and create things, put it out there, see what people have to say about it, and then on to the next thing. So, I would say at this point in my life, I'm trying to strike a balance between fulfilling work, but also having a good life where I have freedom to do what I want and spend time with my wife and my dog and all the sports that I like.
So mainly you, besides f-stoppers and photography, you're a sports buff. You like sports in general.
Yeah, it's weird. I do not like watching sports. I watch UFC, like mixed martial arts. That's the only sport I watch. I was in jiu-jitsu class the other day, and somebody was like, hey, who's going to win tomorrow? And I was like, is there a UFC match tomorrow? And they said, no, it's the Super Bowl. And I said, the Super Bowl's tomorrow? I had no idea. And I'm sure where you live, you don't care about the Super Bowl either. But in America, it's like the biggest thing.
Well, I'm actually well accustomed to U.S. culture because I've mainly grew up with the internet. My parents were busy, so I've had free reign on the internet. And what's bigger than the U.S. in the internet?
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's right. So
I
I enjoy playing sports. I would rather do it myself than watch someone else do it.
and your level of energy would be high, you would say. Like
That's debatable.
that's debatable.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I have high energy. Sometimes I feel like I am in bed 12 or 14 hours a day. So it's debatable.
What's the funnest moment you guys had whilst running F stoppers? The funniest moment,
The funniest moment,
or one of the, not maybe the funniest.
I
who
don't
knows?
know offhand the funniest moment, but some of the best moments have been really towards the beginning of F stoppers, probably because everything was just so, it was wild that this was happening to us. But we did this video with Dave Lale on snowboard photography, and we got to have professional snowboarders jumping over our heads. And, you know, to him, that was a normal Monday, but to us, we had never seen anything like it except on TV. So that was unbelievable. We did a video with David Bergman, who shoots for Bon Jovi, and we got to go backstage and meet Bon Jovi and have all access passes, which was unbelievable.
I've seen
was
that
an
one.
amazing experience. I'm trying to think, like, other details like that. I remember the first time we got invited to go to Gulf Photo Plus in Dubai, and you know, I looked over at Patrick and said, "Isn't it amazing that we're here right now because of that website we created 5 or 6 years ago?" You know, like, how in the world did it lead to us going to the other side of the planet? And then all the traveling that we've done with Elia has been amazing as well. So there's been some unbelievable memories.
And a scary moment, I don't know, something that made you actually fear for yourself whilst going with F stoppers, creating a video, or whilst traveling for a video. I don't know.
I don't know that I really feared for myself too much. We, you know, the few times I've crashed the drone, that was bad. Recently, we just released the behind the scenes where I crashed the drone, and then my camera was stolen while I was recovering the drone. That was one of it. I can't say it was one of the worst days of my life. It wasn't that bad, but I was really angry because I just felt like I had been taken advantage of in the most ridiculous way ever. Like, if I had just known what was going on, I could have easily caught the guy. So that's probably the most angry I've been ever doing anything with F-Stuff. So I had to go to Cancun or somewhere, Playa del Carmen or something, to film something with Mike, and my leg was broken. I didn't know at the time. And then I got food poisoning the very next day. So that I would probably feared for my safety during that event.
Okay, so broken leg and food poisoning. Wow,
Yeah.
that's. I don't know if a lot of cameramen would actually continue onwards with that. I don't know.
Well, I didn't continue on. I was in Playa del Carmen, but I just laid in bed for like 4 days, and Patrick had to do all the work himself. So it would have been much better had he not
Been alone.
made me go.
Oh. And amongst you and Patrick, who's the one that is always either weary or takes everything into consideration and makes a big laid out plan, and who's the one that's outgoing, like, let's do it?
You know, I don't know that either one of us is that different in that sense. I say what usually happens is we have ideas. We have ideas all the time. Patrick's ideas are bad a lot. And so he will come and he will say, "Hey, I've got this idea." And then it is my job to either say, like, "Okay, that's a decent idea, but here's the way I think we should tweak it, and we should go this way." Or I'll say, "This is a horrible idea. We should stop talking about this immediately." That's normally what happens. Or I immediately get really excited and I'm like, "We need to do this right away." And then really the same thing happens when I come up with ideas and pitch them to Patrick. I have to say, I mean, we're both very good about inspiring the other person to like, all right, let's work hard and, you know, we can do this, but at the same time being realistic and saying, hey, man, that's a bad idea. You just need to forget about that one.
Okay, so both of you, like, one compensates for the other.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that we're that different. That's the weird thing. Most, you know, successful team members or couples or whatever will be like opposites, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why the question was like, who is one way, who is the other?
Yeah, it's not really like that with us. We're pretty similar.
Pretty similar. So that means interests tend to be the same and energy level and type of ideas tend to match a bit.
Yeah, I would say so. Like I don't think he's into the sports quite as much as me, but I don't know. I mean, most of the stuff that I like doing, he likes doing in terms of stuff that needs to be done for f-stoppers, but every now and again there's like, I don't know, most of the stuff that we both hate doing, we hate it equally, and then we trade it off, you know? So it's like, who made a promo video for the last tutorial? I made it, now you have to make this one. And he's like, damn it, I don't want to have to do that. You know, it's like, it's such a hard thing to put together. But we're very fair with each other.
Regarding, you said promos, I remember you have a product, your own product, that being the flash disk. I don't know if you have other products in the works. How did that, I've seen the video that explains how you came up with it. But how is it actually doing in the market? Like, is it actually working? Is it actually attracting people to it? Are people recommending or giving feedback on how to improve? Would there be a V2?
Yeah. So, it's done well. It's done well. I think it's made hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I don't know the exact amount that it's made. But the problem is the copycats. Like the Chinese copycats are a problem for us because we sell ours for $50. And we have a patent on ours. So we went through like a 2-year-long process to get a patent. And these copycats come in and they sell it for like $12 or $10 on Amazon and eBay and stuff. Well, like that's what it costs us to get it, right? So like we literally can't even compete with the people who are copying us. So we're trying to figure out what we should do with that. Like, luckily we have a deal with B&H. Like, B&H doesn't have any of the copycats on their website.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so they sell them at the retail price. We've kept our prices consistent for like a long time now, 3 or 4 years. I don't know how long it's been. So they still sell, like we still sell them every day. But you know, the real reason there's not a version 2 out yet, it's just because we know the second we make the version 2, there's going to be copycats, you know, a month later, and then it's like you did all this work, and they've copied it immediately. And then when you try to look into suing somebody, it's like, who are you suing? You're suing some weird, obscure Chinese company that can change their name and may not even have an office in America, and it's like, there's all these weird hoops you have to jump through.
Have you heard of how you need to copyright material for Chinese? You need to actually copyright it also in China. You need to patent it in China. That's why if you don't patent it in China, they actually are. It needs to be patented also there, regardless if it's done in the US or EU. You need to go also there to register it.
So, yes, I have heard things like that. But the truth is, I don't mind if there's copycats in China. I care if there's copycats in America and we have an American patent, and so they are breaking the patent. Like, I don't care what happens in China. I don't have any market in China. I don't know how to advertise in China. So like, if they want to take over that market with a rip-off flash disk, that's totally fine with me. But we paid thousands and thousands of dollars and did years of work to get a patent in America to block this from happening in our own country, the only country that we really market it in. And so it's frustrating to know this is going to happen. And I've heard people say that you can patent stuff in China too, but like they care way less about patents in China than in the United States. So the idea of jumping through all those hoops, like what we should try to do first, we need to hire a lawyer. We need to start suing people here in America first before we would even consider that. So all that being said, like we probably will I don't know. Maybe we'll do a version 2 one day. We've got some ideas for some different things with like gels or grids and stuff, but again, it's very frustrating with the amount of work you put in and then just see somebody copy it, a month later.
Yeah, and that steals revenue and R&D time spent. Everything gets stolen for nothing. Like you mentioned, you're actually losing a lot. But other products in the line, would you have any ideas also with other YouTubers? I don't know. You're saying that you want to go for YouTube to improve it. What's your take on collab videos? I don't know. Are you thinking of a collab with Casey Neistat or other big YouTubers?
I'd be happy to do a video with Casey Neistat. I can't imagine he'd want to do a video with us. Although I feel like Casey kind of owes us because Casey, we were original Casey fans when YouTube was hardly even a thing and he was on Vimeo. We were posting all of his shit videos 7 years ago. I remember all these videos. He still had that same office, but it was way smaller. And, he did some video about, paying a cab driver whose gear he left in the cab. Or he did one on, how to make a lens hood out of a canned jar lid or something. And, it was, these really crappy videos that they're not crappy, they're fine. But, he had no views back then. Now he can literally release anything, and within a few hours he'll have 1 million views. So anyway, I'd love to do a collab with Casey. I don't know Casey. I've never met Casey.
Do you have any idea? Are you targeting a demographic for YouTube, for example, more or less?
No, maybe we should be, but my dream was that if we just create good content, the viewers will come. Maybe we need to go more of the humor route and the yelling at the camera route, but I don't mind playing a little bit of a character on film, but I don't want to become a clown.
Well, my personal opinion, what I know, if you start having a demographic laid out, what you're targeting to, then you can make a bit of a study what actually would attract them. That would it's a bit of an advice from what I know from marketing and what I'm actually helping out friends that are in marketing degrees, and I'm actually doing their homework. Even though I have an arts degree, I'm doing marketing homework for them and getting 9s and 10s. That would be A's and B's for the US. And I know that as long as you know what you're targeting, that's good. If you're doing a shotgun approach, shooting and what falls, that's gonna get you some places, but it's not gonna be sustainable as a growth.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, for instance, I don't care how old the people who watch our videos are. If 12-year-olds are really become interested in photography, I would love to have 12-year-olds as an audience, but that's not my goal. And I know a bunch of 65-year-old retired men who like watching our videos, but again, that's not the goal. I don't want to be followed by 65-year-old men exclusively. So it's tough to look at something as broad as photography and say, oh, I'm going to narrow this down to the 10-year window of age, because in reality, a lot of what we're doing, I don't know. I'd be interested to know from a standpoint of who is Nikon targeting to with the D850? Who are they targeting to?
I don't know, because Nikon from the D800 line, I'm thinking they're targeting people that don't care anymore about low light. I don't know, 800, 810, 800E, 850. They're very good cameras in resolution. You can get big prints, everything. But if you put it in low light, I don't think it fares up to a 4S or a 3S even. I don't think it stands up to those cameras, even though they're 12 megapixel cameras and they're older.
Yeah, but my point is does Nikon say they would have to, if they're going to put an ad on TV and they're going to have millions of dollars in this ad campaign, they're going to have to decide how much, what age range should this.
Well, normally they're targeting ads. I don't know in the US, because I have not seen in the US ads. I know for Romania they're always targeting budget entry-level DSLRs, and they are actually targeting small pocket cameras, and that's everything that they target. So their demographic is mainly youngsters for a entry-level DSLR, and whoever wants a pocket camera. Besides that, that's what I'm seeing myself as what they would be targeting. As video-wise, it's a different ball game because Nikon has a full range of products that could be suited for different type of people. As of you guys, you could have series that could be targeting different type of people. That would be an option.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea, and we're kind of doing something like that. We've got a bunch of different series ideas that have been successful in the past that we just need to keep going.
Thanks for tuning in for the first episode of Under the Radar. That was Lee Morris from fstoppers.com, and please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. See you to the next video, hopefully with another interesting interview.